All right, welcome in. It is Tuesday. It means it's $5 Tuesday at WagerTalk. Hopefully a bounce back day for us. So I know at least for me, one play for me last night, it was my 5%er. It was the Angels. And it was a play I would make again. Felt like I got a little bit unlucky to lose 4-2 and not cash the 1.5. Bryan Leonard, 2-out home run to Austin Hedges. They're not, the Guardians got two out hits. And then Christian Moore, I thought for sure tied that game, but it died in mid-flight. That thing was crushed, and then suddenly Steven Kwan was under it to end the game 4-2. Ended my night 0-1, but I'm here to bounce back today. How did things go for you on Monday, Brian?
Well, we won our free play on that game going under. Also won our parlay pick on that. But unfortunately, I had San Diego, and they lose in extra innings, even though they had the bases loaded and 1 out.
Yep.
It's just the way it is. There's a website I look at that talks about based on what has happened in the game, who should have won. And San Diego should have won 67% of the time. But baseball, just like all sports, are very hard to handicap, and you're going to have variance. We had it last night, so we lost our 5%, and I do apologize for that. Hopefully we can get it back for everybody, at least some of that today.
Tokyo Brandon, that's what we're trying to do. Get it back today. How was your Monday?
I went 1 win, 2 loss in MLB, and then I swept Asian baseball this morning. I won a Japanese and I won a KBO. So little on top, not really anything to brag about. So not a great day. We'll find out who the real ones are this weekend when football starts. If people are still putting baseball bets out, then they're real ones.
Oh yeah. Oh, don't even. If I go into all of the pros that stop betting baseball after this week, I'll probably get in trouble from our employer. So I'm not going to do that.
Let's do it. I love it.
But listen, the three of us.
Let's just say we'll know who the real ones are on Saturday.
Yeah. A whole bunch of people in this space think baseball ends on August 29th. It doesn't. And the three of us will be here right through the World Series. So, yeah, we're here to get it back today. The good from yesterday, without a doubt, we cashed the parlay on the show. So a nice, I think it was plus 500. If you just watched the show yesterday, great day for you. We had the Mariners. That's my only real regret for me last night personally. I would make that Angels bet 10 times out of 10. I'm mad that I didn't get across the finish line with the Mariners as a client play. Of course, it ends up being an easy winner. Brian, dead under in that Angels-Guardians game. And then Tokyo Brandon with a blowout winner on the Nats. So not only did we hit the parlay, it was kind of no sweat on that 3-teamer, and hopefully we can do it again today.
I'm with you, Adam. I wish I would have made the Nats a client play as well, because that was just a rocking chair win there.
Yeah, rocking chair winner on all three.
They were losing in the first 3 innings. Sorry, but after that,
you know what? Yeah, once it was 13-3, I think you had that one pretty easily.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tokyo Brandon, I'll come back to you. Let's see if we can find some winners today. Feature game, TBS tonight here in the States. A worthy national television game tonight. Potentially a preview of maybe the NLCS, maybe a matchup you'll see in the playoffs. It's the Braves and the Dodgers. And we've got the Dodgers welcoming back Tyler Glass now tonight. I've watched him pitch a couple times in AAA over the last couple weeks, and we can talk about that. And then Bryce Elder, guy for the home team here in the Braves that just always seems to find a way to pitch good. It almost doesn't matter. So interesting matchup. Dodgers, Braves, Dodgers, the road favorite. Kick us off.
Yeah, Braves are not hitting real well right now. They do have the star power, but I'm talking about recent form. I'm not talking about like yesterday. You got to look at this a little bit of a big picture, a little bit of a small picture, and then mash them together. But Braves bats are a little cold, recent form, and the Dodgers are not exactly smashing, but they're at least better than mediocre at the moment. Both teams, lots of star power. This will probably be the most interesting game to watch today. I've got the Dodgers with the better bullpen and the better hitting in current form. So it boils down to, do you like Bryce Elder or Glasnow? I like Glasnow a little better than Elder. So it'd be Dodgers or nothing for me. I think the price is not too bad either. What is it? Minus 150, 152, something like that. That's not a bad price in my opinion. Yeah, the Braves are a good team. They're just not stringing it together right now. So I think the Dodgers are catching them at a good time. Dodgers are nothing for me.
Bryan Leonard, I watched Tyler Glasnow the other night pitch against the Space Cowboys, of course, the Sugarland Space Cowboys, and
That's a cool name.
It is. That was one of the more recent rebrands of minor league teams, one of the newer mascots in minor league baseball. Great uniforms. Not a ballpark I've been to yet. I will get down to Sugarland, Texas at some point. Reason I bring that up, that was his 4th rehab appearance. So remember, we last saw Tyler Glasnow May 6th. He's been out since May. They gave him, of course, the Dodgers. We've talked about their roster and the depth in their organization. Embarrassment of riches. There was no reason to rush Tyler Glasnow back. So he got pretty much a full month of rehab, 2 starts in A-ball, and then most recently was what I like to call the dress rehearsal, where it's like no pitch count, go out and do your thing. And he did his thing. 5 1/3, 1 hit, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. Looked very ready to go, and I expect to get the full Tyler Glasnow experience tonight. But it doesn't mean the Braves are the wrong side here. I thought this number was still a little inflated. So, Brian, Dodgers, Braves to you. How are you seeing this one?
Every time I hear the name Space Cowboys, it reminds me of the Dallas Cowboys in the offseason, probably getting high every single day.
Reminds me of Jamiroquai.
We got Glasgow and Elder, as TB talked about. It's about a 152 favorite, total of 8.5 here. Glasnow obviously first game back. Elder's been pretty consistent for Atlanta. He's been one of their more consistent players on this season. I just left Daytona, which is where Ralph Michaels is currently at, and he does a lot of Nerfies. And I'm back in Orlando for the day. I'll be back in Vegas tomorrow. But I think a Yerfie may be something to take a look at here, because if you take a look at the LA Dodgers, the top of the order for the last 7 days, Ohtani ranks 21st, Freeman 51st, Betts 37th, Muncy 13th. So you got your top 4 guys all hitting very well right now. And they're going up against a decent starter in Atlanta, but I could expect the Dodgers to get on the board here early. And on the opposite side, you've got, as you mentioned, you've got a really good starter for the Dodgers, but he's had to deal with injuries his entire career. He's very fragile. When he pitches, he's great. But it is his first game back, and he's going up against an Atlanta team. Yeah, they're not hitting like they were earlier in the season, but they do have a lot of talent here, and we saw that in the last series that played at Milwaukee, and that game on Sunday night baseball. They get that victory against a very good Milwaukee team. So you can never count the Braves out, as they've got a lot of experience, and those guys have been to the playoffs before. That said, I think the first inning we're going to get a run here. I'm not an expert on the Nerfies, but with a total of 8.5, it should be roughly a slight favorite, I would think. And that would be the way that I would go here. I think the Dodgers are setting up very nicely here. And, of course, Atlanta going against a guy who's making his major league debut for the last couple of months. So I think that works out pretty well. So I kind of like that. It's not going to be my play. I try to give you something more concrete than a one-inning play here. But, hey, it's worked for Ralph Michaels, and it's another way to make money in baseball. And for anybody who will be switching over to football, you're going to miss out on that.
Great Jamiroquai reference, TB. I haven't thought about that guy in over a decade, but the song Virtual Insanity turned 30 years old like the other day. And it's like the first time I've seen that it was released on.
Make me feel old. Holy cow.
I know.
I think I was in college when that came out.
Yeah, that 30 years ago. So that is
wow.
A great reference right there. As far as this game's concerned, how often do you get the Braves plus 1.5 in this price range? This is a team that's 76-55. Yes, they've dipped a tiny bit lately, but 76-55, they're at home. And the thing that interests me with the thing that noticed with Elder, because again, he's come up a lot this year on this show.
Mm-hmm.
I always sort of comment on his, lack of God-given like talent, but his ability to maximize it seemingly like year after year. Like if you've got this dude's like talent, you should, in my opinion, there's no way you should have like a sub-4 ERA in the big leagues, but he goes out and he just continues to tinker and he finds ways to get out. If you look at his whole game log this year, it's like there's a couple big blowups, like big blowups, double-digit hits. There was one recently against the Mets, 7 runs, 10 hits, but like every other start is solid. And so like if you look, like if you were to throw that Met start out, it's 6 innings, 1 run, 7 innings, 1 run, 6 innings, 1 run, 5 innings, 1 run, 6 innings, 2 runs. It's pretty consistently good. I think the Braves are live here. I think they're coming back home. It's kind of a big game for them. And you can catch a run at like -125. That to me is how I would have to play this game. Yes, Glasnow looked really good in a recent rehab start, but as we know, doing it in AAA and then doing it for the first time in the big league since May 6th is a different ball game. Lean toward the Braves for me. Not sure if it will make my client play, but something will. And it's $5 Tuesday, so you're going to get all those client plays for $5. I don't have anything up yet, but I will. Tokyo Brandon, Bryan Leonard, do you guys have stuff up on the site for sale just yet?
Yeah, I do.
I'm sorry.
Go for it. I've got a 4% play up right now. It's a total. We've been great on totals thus far. And I'm really liking what I'm hoping to use as my free play on today's show. It may be an actual client play also. And we'll get to that when it comes around.
Yeah, I also have a 4% play up for $5. So guys, WagerTalk.com and all of WagerTalk's family sites, including Sports Memo and Picks and Parlays, everything's $5 or free. So go there, except for 5% plays. If anyone puts a 5% play out today, it's not for $5, but everything else is $5 for free. Go check it out. Every capper should have something. If you must bet football, I'm sure someone has a football play up too.
That is Abedham Lincoln. Phenomenal name, by the way. Phenomenal handle right there.
Adabham Lincoln, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
He says much love. He says much love, guys. Thank you for the show every morning. Tokyo Brandon, in your extensive hat collection, do you have the Jamiroquai hat at anywhere? Like, do you own a hat that looks like his hat?
I have something close. I've worn it before, but it's pink. It's not the Jamiroquai brown one. But yeah, maybe I'll wear it soon.
Yeah, we might need to bust
maybe
that
the final show of the year.
All right, let's get back to it. Vader time. Wow, we got great handles, but some new names in the chat today. First of all, I very much appreciate all of you guys that interact with the show on a daily basis. The comments, the likes, subscribes, everything helps over on the Wager Talk YouTube channel, and of course the donations to the channel as well. Brian, hate to keep bringing this game up. I did agree. I was watching for you. I was hoping that we would at least split our 5%ers yesterday. Instead, we both ended up with kind of a gut-wrenching beat. But he wants to talk Padres Pirates, and so I'm going to let you start this one off. Skeens is an auto fade anymore. He wants to know. Let's go to that game. Pirates Padres. Do the Padres bounce back?
I don't believe Skeens should be an auto fade. In fact, if it wasn't Paul Skeens, we wouldn't be making a big deal about any of this. Obviously, his velocity is down and his spin rate is down, but he's still, if you take a look at his FIP on the season, fielding independent pitching, he's 9th in baseball. He does play with a Pirates defense that kind of lacking. We talked about that earlier in the season, especially in the outfield. But it's just been frustrating for him because everything has gone so well his entire life, I'm sure, and he hasn't had to deal with it. Well, he's dealing with it now, and he's in a position where Pittsburgh continues to go out and win games, so they need him. And I think we're getting him at a pretty cheap number here. King is a guy that we like for San Diego, but if you're looking at basically this line is telling you the teams are equal on a neutral, and this is the home field. We're looking at basically a 120 favorite here with a total of 7.5 to the under. It's telling me the teams are equal. I don't know. I liked San Diego, the situation yesterday didn't work out. But it would not surprise me if this is a lower scoring game. I'm actually seeing a 7 out there right now, a 7 to the over in one spot, but we're looking at 7.5 to the under. I would expect it similar game to yesterday. I think both of these guys will have a pretty good pitching day. And the problem you got to look at is, since it went into extra innings, you have to look at who's going to be available from these teams right now. Let's take a quick look at Pittsburgh with the Pirates and their bullpen. According to the Fangraphs website, they're not showing anybody used yesterday. That can't be right. So they haven't updated the site yet. So I don't have that right now. But it wouldn't surprise me if it's a lower scoring game once again here. And I haven't lost faith in Skeens. He's just not as good as he was. But hey, I'd take him on my team right now.
Yeah, I got an argument on Twitter the other day with someone about Paul Skeens, and I was like, and they were basically like, "This guy's washed, he's cooked, like whatever." And I'm like, "Listen, if you just look at his Savant page for this year, because remember, this is the thing with Skeens. This is the argument. Skeens set the bar, Tokyo Brandon, so insanely high through his first 2 years as a pro that." Yes, he is clearly not going to match his output in 2024 and 2025. I don't think it's a skill thing. You have to also take into consideration innings last year. 187 innings last year. Then he comes out and throws in the World Baseball Classic, right? So that's a lot of mileage on the arm over the last couple of seasons, and then for the way he throws, but if we're just talking about this year, so remember, you could compare last year to this year, but this year, you go look at his Savant page for this year, which is now pretty much a full sample. He's got 139 innings pitched this year, and it's still elite numbers. You still have an elite expected ERA, elite expected batting average against. Even the fastball velo being down, he still has a pretty good fastball, and he's still a top 10% strikeout pitcher in the league right now. So that's the thing. But that dude, you're going to make an underdog here. I think that's where Brian was going with this. And that's kind of where I'm going with this as well. I think there's a ton of value on Skeen and the Pirates, which in my opinion, match up pretty evenly with the Padres anyway. So Pirates, Padres, are you giving up on Skeens, or do you think this is a good spot for him?
No, I mean, I'm 100% agreement with both of you, especially what Brian said. The only reason you're saying that is because it's Skeens, and I think the media just out hyped him and Jones when they first came out. They're both elite talents, although the eliteness is not showing up. If you look at his whip right now, he's the same whip as Nolan McLean. And are you going to tell me that Nolan McLean is washed and sucks? Come on, guys. He might not be. I mean, Skeens in his prime. I don't mean he's past his prime, but I mean when in his best year, yeah, he was a top 3 starter. Now he's not that right now this year, but he definitely has the potential to be back to be a top 5 MLB pitcher. He has the talent. If you people who say Skeens sucks now are not watching baseball. You're looking at stats, and you need to watch him pitch because he's still elite. Regarding today's game. Yeah. I really liked King when they got him from the Yankees, but he's very mediocre this season. Got him ranked 15 on a scale of 30, where I got Skeens ranked 11. So if Skeens sucks, I'll take sucks any day. Pirates bullpen is a little bit of trouble. Slightly less than mediocre, where San Diego's bullpen's performing quite well right now. Both teams need the win. I got both lineups neck and neck. So the differentiating factor here would be starting pitching and hitting for the Pirates. So I would take Pirates in the first 5, I think. if I were to bet this game, because according to my numbers, they're better than the Padres in hitting and starting pitching today. But that bullpen is hard to trust in current form. So that's how I would go if I were to bet this game.
Yeah, you want you want the Pirates against a right-handed pitcher. They've been better against right-handed pitching all year, and King's fine, but it's like this is not a guy that's, just going to go down and completely shut a team down. Like there's going to be offense probably in the game at some point for the Pirates if they can capitalize. But the thing with Skeens that Tokyo Brandon that you pointed out, like watching him pitch, like I just see a guy that's like tinkering, trying to figure it out, and it's like, I'm not going to bet against this dude figuring it out, because when he puts it back together, you're probably going to get like a 7 scoreless. And do you want to be laying juice against him on the day that he puts it back together? I certainly don't. Would be Pirates or pass for me.
Let me just add
Go
a
ahead.
couple things.
Yeah,
Weaver for the Pirates and Miller for San Diego each threw about 30 pitches last night. So I probably wouldn't expect either one of them to pitch tonight. And those are two key members of the bullpen. But if you look at the Skeens, TB kind of touched on, he says, you're looking at the stats. Well, if you're looking at the stats, you still want to bet on Skeens. His ERA is 3.95. Granted, it's not what it normally is, but his expected ERA 3.17, his FIP 3.01, expected FIP 3.25. His game score on the season is 55. League average is 50. But he's had 3 blow-ups this year. He had a 22 at Cincinnati. He had a 17 at Philadelphia. And he had an 18 in his opening game at the New York Mets. So other than those 3 games in which he looked terrible, it just, no doubt about it, he was not himself. He's been pretty good the rest of the season. The lowest I'm seeing is like a 34. And I'm seeing as high as a 94 and a 91 in back-to-back starts. So, yeah, he's a guy that can come out and throw a shutout and look great. But he has had a couple of blow-ups this year, and we haven't seen that before. But those have really hurt his ERA. But still, you get an ERA of 3.95. If you were to give me an ERA of 3.95 for all my starters on my team, I'd be very happy with that, especially the young offensive talent that the Pirates have.
I will die on the hill that those earned runs from the opening day belong to O'Neal Cruz and not Paul Skeens.
Still
that's yes, because I was on that game, and yes, I still do have nightmares about him trying to just catch routine fly balls in center field in that game. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I think we kind of look at Pirates as a dog being an option. But yeah, we'll move on. Let's find another one. I guess we can. I guess that's a good segue into a game that a couple of people in the chat have asked for. So let's talk about those Mets. That was the team that benefited from O'Neal Cruz's bad defense way back in March on opening day. Bryan Leonard, way back in March on opening day, a lot of people thought the Mets would be a big time contender this year, and they simply have not been. We've pointed out that they've played better of late. They did drop 2 of 3 over the weekend to the White Sox, but I mean, the 2 games that they lost could easily have gone either way. They're likely not going to the playoffs, entering play 11 and a half back, insurmountable, even though I thought there was an outside chance maybe a week ago. But that Mets team, disappointment. That being said, I thought I've been value on them for a couple weeks. Now they play one of the best teams in the National League. How do you see the Mets showing up tonight? Is this a series they show up in, or are they going to just kind of fade into the abyss here?
Yeah, I still believe that we can make money on the Mets the rest of the season. They play in a major market. They've been a major disappointment, and they've been an afterthought. Well, that sounds like the kind of team I'm looking to back. We got Kyle Harrison, a lefty, going against Zach Thornton, the lefty. And we're looking at Milwaukee as about a 160 favorite here on the road with a total of 7.5 to the under, slightly to the under. Harrison's been terrific all season long. Hats off to that Milwaukee coaching staff. They've just done it again with Harrison. And when he's been healthy this year, he's been very good. There's a couple times he was hurt a little bit. And then obviously he had that game in Vegas and never really had a chance there in those conditions. But he's been extremely good. Thornton's not bad for the Mets. He's been okay. 7.5 tells you they're not expecting many runs in this game, and I kind of agree here. Milwaukee's not a team that hits a ton of home runs, but they play good fundamental baseball, and I think the Mets can learn a little bit from them a little bit. But yeah, if I'm playing, I can't lay that 160, so I'd either play maybe the Mets team total under or the game under, and I would be fine with either one of those, but they're not going to get to it on my card.
Tokyo Brandon, Brewers Mets to you. Is this one making your card?
Yeah, before I do that, it's $5 Tuesday at WagerTalk.com. Everything is $5 or free except the 5% plays. So go to WagerTalk.com, SportsMemo.com, Picks and Parlays, any of the WagerTalk media sites, and you can get everything for $5 or free except 5% plays. I have a 4% out. Adam has a 4% out, right? Think.
I will. I'm still licking my wounds from last
Brian
night, but
has
I will at some point.
Somebody said they have a 4% out. I thought.
Brian.
Okay, it's Brian. Sorry. Brian has a 4%. I have a 4%. Adam probably will. Everything's $5, guys. No limit. So let's get on to this one. This is a perfect chance. I think if I was going to play this as a client play, I would take Milwaukee -1, knock about 35 cents off that price, take them -1 at about -135. But I'm going to make them on the money line as my parlay play because I'll tell you why. Because nobody's playing better baseball than Milwaukee, in my opinion. They're playing really good baseball. They look like Japan in the World Baseball Classic, just stringing runs together, getting hits at the right time, great pitching staff. They look, I don't want to say it unbeatable, but they look like a team of destiny. You know, every year in MLB, it seems like one team that doesn't belong in the divisional series squeaks in. This seems like that team this year. I don't know. If I'm talking them up this much, might be jinxing them. I don't know, because when I talk bad about teams, they suddenly get good. So if you're a Milwaukee fan, sorry about that. But today, I like them. I agree with Brian. I like Thornton, but I think Harrison's a little better. And I got Milwaukee ranked 7th or better in every single category I rank. I mean, no other team is as solid as them. Another thing about Harrison is his command and control is amazing. He's only walking 24% of the guys he's striking out, where Thornton's having a good season, but he's still walking about 40% of the guys he's striking out. You don't want to put these Brewer guys on base. They will hurt you. Mets coming off a road trip, and I don't see a real home advantage because they have a losing record at home. So yeah, give me the Brewers here.
Yeah, listen, I thought I would come into this. Here's the thing, like with the Mets, I may have run it back with the Mets and they won on Sunday and carried some momentum into this series. Problem is, like Brian, I'm with you in the respect that, like, I definitely think there's some number value with the Mets. If this were to continue to get bet Brewers and suddenly you could catch a Mets with the extra run, like at -120, I might be interested in it. But Tokyo Brandon makes a great point. The Brewers 81-50 this year. They've now won more games since the beginning of last season than any other team in Major League Baseball. The reason I like the +1.5 is because I don't necessarily think they're built to like just blow teams out, but they are built to win games. They've done it more than anyone since the beginning of the 2025 season with essentially this team. And Tokyo Brandon is correct in saying they are one of the elite teams in Major League Baseball. Tough to really want to fade them. I need a real good reason to fade them. And I don't know that even with some Mets value that it is a good enough reason to fade them. So TV, we will root for you, but Brian's going to give us a money line on that Brewers pick right now.
Yeah, we're looking at 160, I would say. That was correct. So it's as low as 150, as high as 170, and we'll go 160, I think.
I'm doing it for that price because it's a parlay leg. If I were giving it to clients, I would do it a -1. But for the parlay leg, let's do that. You know, who's going to beat Milwaukee in the playoffs? Seriously.
They're going to be they will be
a tough they'll be an underdog in just about every series because
they're better than the Braves right now.
They're better. The other teams have great starting pitching. The Dodgers obviously will be favored over them, and people will remember what the Dodgers did to them last year. So I think we'll be when the playoffs come. I think we'll be able to make some money on Milwaukee. Find a way to make Milwaukee because small market team. People remember them failing the last couple of years. Milwaukee will be a team we can get some good numbers on,
especially with Harrison and Henderson. Those guys, nobody still nobody knows them.
Yeah, tons of depth there. The NL playoffs are going to be tremendous. The playoffs in general will be awesome, but there's going to be some big time series in the National League this year. I guess let's move to this another series in the National League that could very well be a playoff preview out in the desert tonight. Cubs Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks 69 and 63. They're in the mix for one of those last wild card spots, and the Cubs, Brian, 20 games over 500, and yet well off the pace in their division because of those Brewers. So Cubbies pulled away last night, ended up winning big. After a close sort of start to the game, they pulled away. It's Holmes and the guy that continues to just defy everything, Brandon Pfaadt, goes out and just continues to pitch well. So kick us off here, Cubs D-backs. How do you see this one?
Yeah, this is the game I'm going to use as my parlay. I like Arizona here. Brandon Pfaadt's got a 58 average game score this season. Until his last start, he only had a 35 at Boston. But before that, it was 85, 76, 68, 72, 53, 57, 56, 68, 57, all better than league average. And he's coming off his worst start of the season, and that was at Boston. And they're also coming off of a home shutout loss to the Chicago Cubs. I'd like to play teams that are quality teams off of a shutout loss, and it was a bad loss. They lost 7-0, and they've got what has been their ace. Of course, the veteran lefty also has had a great season for them, but coming off of a bad start last time out, you're going to get the best out of Pfaadt here, and I like the situation for them. We're looking at Pfaadt right now is basically – the game's basically a pick 'em, -105 either way, which I'm fine with. Total is 8 to the over, 8.5 to the under. Holmes is a guy who I like, but I don't trust him on a day-to-day basis. And I still like that Cubs offense. The Cubs got a really good team, and they're going to be tough to beat come playoff time. You mentioned the National League. The National League's probably got 4 teams that are better than anybody in the American League. At least at this point, we'll see how some teams get some players back at the end of the season. But right now, the National League, you've got to consider them to be the favorite, a sizable favorite to win the World Series. And I like both these teams. But in this game, to get Pfaadt the way he's pitched at home, off a shutout loss, off his worst start of the season, I think is a bargain. This is going to be one of my plays I give clients also. I won't be selling it on WagerTalk, but it's going to be at least a 2% play, and I'm going to use it as my free play. We'll go -105 because it looks like basically a pick 'em across the board here, so we'll use that.
Tokyo Brandon, yeah, no, I agree with you, Brian, and we're going to see if TB is on the same page. I know he's like Brandon Pfaadt before. You were sort of on the Brandon Pfaadt train before it was like the cool place to be, TB, talking about him over a month ago. Pitching great, and he's with the exception of one bad outing, he's pretty much done that ever since. The Cubs, for as good as they are offensively, I mean, they're a very good offensive team, but they absolutely crush left-handed pitching. Pfaadt, of course, not a lefty, so you're getting a right-handed pitcher here for the Cubs that's going to throw 3 variations of a fastball, has done a good job at inducing some softer contact. I kind of think that could play here. So Cubbies D-backs, do you agree with Brian? Do you like the home team?
And he has a cool name. So not just Pfaadt, but Brandon's a pretty cool name too. So Brian stole all my thunder. I have not much else to add. I agree with him completely. I think the spot is perfect. And Diamondbacks' current form, they're hitting better than the Cubs. Throw yesterday's game out, they're hitting better. And their starter today is better. Neither bullpen's performing too well right now, but they're equally is what it is kind of thing. So I couldn't agree more. I would take the Diamondbacks today as well. however you can.
Yeah, and I think Brian, what's the total on this game? Just because I don't have it up on this screen right now.
Let me give it a quick look. Well, once again, we are looking at 8.5 under, 8 over, 8.25 as we like to say.
The over-under, in my opinion, is a little dicey because two kind of poorly performing bullpens, but two really good starters and two really good lineups. So, a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think so. I'll just throw a thought out on the total. I could see this one staying under. The Diamondbacks hit lefties better than they hit right-handed pitching, and so you've got a favorable starter for the Cubs, righty. You have what I can like if you think Fox going to pitch well, which we all kind of do. 8.5 feels like that's a reasonable underplay in my opinion. My projection is like a shade under 8. And then you brought up the bullpens, TB. Not like the big boys didn't really pitch last night. It kind of got out of hand. Neither team had to use their big horses in the pen. So yeah, I would lean toward under there. And I also agree with your Diamondback side there, Brian. Going to hit the chat for a couple quick comments. So Slick Vic says, I know Trigger knows how long Glasnow will go. I talked about that. We opened the show with that game, and I think he will have his full allotment of pitches. He went a full start at AAA last time out. David Edgington, I thought you would have played your parlay pick. Yep. As I said at the beginning of the show, I'm kicking myself for that. The only thing that I regret from yesterday was not the 5%er. I would make that play again. And I just regret not adding the Mariners because I talked about it on the show and it was such a tremendous spot. That's going to be my segue into my parlay piece. I would play the Angels again, and that is where I will look here. I am going to look and do it the same exact way I did last night. I doubt this will make my client card, but only because of the price here, Brian. Again, if this were to come down 10 cents, 15 cents, I'd probably consider playing this for clients. But right now, the +1.5 for the Angels is a little bit expensive, so we can use it in the parlay. A lot of, again, reason being, I think Walter Arena is going to pitch well. And this is just my general sort of theory with the Guardians right now is this is just not a team that should be laying -1.5 on many occasions. Now, it worked for them in Colorado, but I also threw that series out completely. I wanted no part of trying to fade the Guardians in Colorado, a team that's offensively challenged. Playing in Colorado is going to help out the offense. Again, last night, I'm going to save you guys the play-by-play of the game. I've already done that. I'd be interested to see what the percentages were, but I feel like more often than not, the Angels cover +1.5 in that specific game. A lot had to go right for the Guardians, in my opinion, to win that game by more than a run. Very similar game tonight. I've liked Arena all year. Yes, Gavin Williams is very solid, but it feels like another low-scoring game. My parlay leg will be the Angels against Brian, your Cleveland Guardians. So push back if you want to. Here is your chance.
Yeah, you're looking at probably about a 145 here on LA, plus the 1.5 -145. I can't push back here. Williams has been great. Urena has been great. The only problem I have is the Angels are like the worst scoring home team in Major League Baseball. But I like Urena. I like him a lot. I like both starters a lot in this game. And we've talked about Cleveland's offense. They're very inconsistent. You talked about when they were in Colorado. When you're playing in Colorado, you're getting totals of 11. You're not getting totals of 7.5. So every run means so much more when you're playing in a low total game. And I'm with you with the +1.5 here. That seems like a really solid bet. But I'm with you. I would have liked to have gotten it at 140. There's a couple out there right now where you can get it at -140 or minus a little bit less if you're looking at some other things. But it can be a situation where it can end up being on your card as the day goes on. If you get some, these are all night games today, so we can get some line movement. Cleveland's seems to be taking advantage playing a weaker opposition. Obviously, the Angels and the Rockies are two of the worst teams in baseball. So, yes, I'm a Cleveland fan, but I'm a fan of money more than anything. So I'm kind of hoping Cleveland really looks good in this series so I can go against them in the next series or two. But, I would find no fault in taking the 1.5 with LA because I expect this one to be a tightly contested ball game.
Tokyo Brandon, I see Mark Lambert in the chat. I know he likes the Angels on the money line here, which I'm fine with. If you're going to bet this game just individually, you're probably the way to go is to take the Angels on the money line, just based on like where the price points are for the parlay, because I know we're doing a 3-teamer. It's going to come out plus money anyway. I'm going to, take the liberty of using the 1.5 and giving us a little cushion there. TB, I know you've liked Arena this year. We haven't brought up your sort of pitcher ratings and stuff. I know you were putting that out on your Twitter here and there. So curious to see where Arena stacks up for you today, because I know you've liked him in the past. And I pull up his Savant page, a lot of red, a lot of impressive metrics for him this year. So talk to me about the Angels and Walbert Arena.
Yeah, lots of guys in the chat, familiar names. Mark Lambert's there, Steve Duke's there, and one of my favorite names, Big Daddy Cornfed, is joining us as well today. So thank you for joining. He joined me on my Sunday show too. I remember him. So hard to forget that name. But yeah, actually on my Twitter X, which is down there, Tokyo_Brandon, I believe I put out my outs projections for today or my strikeouts, one or the other. So yeah, let's take a look at the starters. So when I put the numbers in, the first thing that screams out to me is exactly what you saw, Adam, is 2 really good starting pitchers, and actually 2 really good bullpens, performing quite well right now. And then 2 lineups that are not producing, which obviously makes you want to bet an under. So I went and looked at the numbers, and unfortunately it's a 7. It's very hard to bet under 7 in Major League Baseball. But then again, when you think about these 2 pitchers and these 2 lineups, I don't see anyone winning this like 6 or 8-1 or something. It doesn't look like that kind of game. So under might be a way to go, but the less runs in the game, each run is more valuable. So Angels plus 1.5, like Brian said, would be extremely good value in my opinion. If you're getting 1.5 runs out of a total of 7, that's huge value. And if you could get that for anything minus 150 or better, I think that would be a good play, actually.
Yeah, just want to point out that there's more 7.5s than there are 7s out there. So,
okay,
plenty of opportunities to get that 7.5 if you do like that.
Sure. Under would be the only way to go, in my opinion.
Yeah. Listen, sometimes it's super frustrating to me when the sports books do their job properly, and this is like one of the scenarios where that's certainly
I was
the case.
going to the book hoping to see an 8.5, and I was like,
Well, yeah. So here's the point I'm going to make. It's like last night we had Klassen versus Messick, and I was able to get plus 1.5 on the Angels minus 120. And so now we have like Williams against Arena, which I think is sort of similar, yet that's a 25 cent or, that's a 25 cent difference. So that's the annoying part for me because I love the Angels plus 1.5 here. And like the fact that I'm not able to bet it at a similar price that I could have bet it last night when the Guardians covered the run line, even though, again, I don't think they necessarily deserve to, is just the books sort of getting out in front of what I would have been respected money on the Angels. So do what you will with that. I will be hoping that someone out there bets the Guardians today, someone with influence, so I can then play back at it with the Angels at a better number. But for the sake of our parlay, we'll put that in there. And I will, if I add that specific game for clients, I will put it on my free picks page over at WagerTalk. So make sure you are checking the free picks tab on the WagerTalk site because I'll have plays there. And Tokyo Brandon will have plays there, Bryan Leonard, and so many other handicappers actually like throw client plays in there from time to time. It's a great way, 2 great ways to save yourself some coin on a Tuesday, $5 Tuesday, because most of the plays are $5. And every day, someone on that free picks tab is firing out a client play. So keep an eye on that, especially as we get into football season and the volume goes up for a lot of people. Yep. I know for me, if I have volume, if I have volume and I have extra ones to give, I usually put at least one in the free pick page.
Pay attention to who's still betting baseball on Sunday, because those are the real ones.
Yep, absolutely. And the books start to have a little bit more to do come September, and some of those lines get a little softer. Hopefully we can take advantage of that. TB, gonna let you kick one off here. Alex Rand says, morning fellas, can we talk Phillies versus Mariners? Of course, the Mariners win big last night. I was getting clowned in the comments for my Mariners futures. I think those are good bets. I do not write this team off. I know they've had a rough go of it till this point. But the Mariners, if they get the juices flowing, that schedule's going to get real easy. This team could start stacking wins. That being said, the schedule's not easy yet. They got the Phillies again tonight, and who are probably a little bit upset about the no-show in the opening game of this series. So TB, Mariners, Phillies for Alex Rand. How do you see this one?
Yeah, this is a tough game. I'll just, full transparency, I'm not going to bet this game. Number one, the Mariners are a team that just always bite me in the rear end when I bet against them or for them. And Nola's underperformed this year. He was a warrior. He is one of those guys who would give you 7 innings every start, but he's having something's wrong with him this season. He's not the same guy. He's become a very mediocre, kind of non-existent kind of pitcher. 5-9 with a 5+ ERA is very un-Nola like. Kirby also, I mean, he's 8-10. I know records aren't everything. Kirby is, in my opinion, the better pitcher of the matchup, but I have the Phillies hitting better and with the better bullpen. So everything is just a big mush of nothing that I don't know what to do with. It's like the wet clay. I can't do anything with it. So I'll lay off this one.
Gotta mold that clay, buddy. Yeah, I'll go right into this one because I've got something else I want to talk about. But yeah, Nola has actually been very good as of late, and Kirby's been really bad as of late, which is, at the end of the season, people will look at lines and they'll say, how is this line, whatever it is? Well, coming into the season, nobody thought much about Aaron Nola, and they were high on George Kirby. Kirby in Seattle was supposed to be a team going to the playoffs, and you're going to look back at this line as basically a pick 'em, and you're going to say, what the hell kind of line was that? That was because pitchers get on a little bit of streaks, and Nola's been really good as of late, and Kirby's been terrible. That said, I think the line is correct. What I want to mention is today's a special day. Not only is it Customer Appreciation Day, we get everything other than a 5% for $5. It's also our 12th year anniversary. The guys got together 12 years ago and decided to start this website, and it is really taken off. They were smart enough, a little joke there, to have me on the site from the very beginning. And I'm proud to be with them. And this is the best sports site on the internet. The shows are great here. There's a lot of good content out there on the internet, but congratulations to Johnny and Rick and Marco and Prez and everybody who put this thing together. This is the 12-year anniversary. So happy anniversary, everybody. And let's just hope the next 12 are half as successful as this one has been, because in an industry that right now is on the way down, we've been able to go up and up on sales and everything we do all season long. And congratulations to everybody that works for WagerTalk. And we especially have to thank the people who have been watching the shows, buying the picks, commenting in the sites. And we love all of our guys. And hey, we've talked a lot about how much we've got the smartest group of people following us all season long in baseball. You guys know what to do. Even though football's coming up, you guys are smart enough to remember that we can still make some good money in baseball.
100%. No, I well said, Brian. Listen, the industry is on the way down because people like you guys in the chat realize that people can't be an expert at everything, right? And so I think that's why this show and a lot of the shows on the platform work so well, because we have people that, for the most part, are an expert in their sport. And that's why, when football starts on Friday, the three of us are still going to be here 6 days a week, right through the playoffs, trying to grind every last cent out of baseball that we can right to the very end. So that's what you should be listening. That's my advice if you're buying picks, because I know a lot of people that watch the show buy picks. Make sure the person you're buying from is an expert in that sport and not just selling picks, right? Because there's a lot of people out there that do that. You want the expert in that specific sport. It's why I'll come on and hype up Ski, Hakeem Profit having a tremendous season. Why do you think that is? The guy just like eats, sleeps, and breathes NBA and WNBA basketball. It's that simple. And so, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. What I'll add about this game is the fact that, I don't have a ton to add here. I feel like yesterday was the dream spot for the Mariners. Even and to David, to your point, why did it not make my card yesterday? Well, I couldn't find any other baseball reason to bet the Mariners other than this is just such a good spot because the Phillies have won 9 in a row. They're flying across the country. The Mariners just lost by 100 runs on Sunday. It was just such a good spot. The matchup didn't give me enough to be like, yeah, I want to bet that. Obviously, in hindsight, 2020, I'm kicking myself. But can I possibly bet the Mariners tonight, having not bet them yesterday? I can't, because this is not nearly the spot it was yesterday. I'm kind of with Tokyo Brandon. I think this is very much a coin flip. Could go either way. And, will be a good one. But I don't have much to add right there. So, I guess the best way to end that segment is happy anniversary Wager Talk. And Brian, an OG from day one. Brian, who else is a day one guy still on the site?
Well, President Marco, because they were on the site and they were part of the owners. I don't remember. They have made a lot of changes over the years, which makes me feel proud that I'm still on the site, because there's a lot of guys that were with us in the past that are no longer with us for one reason or the other. But everybody they brought them in for a certain reason. Brandis talked about why he was brought in. It was during COVID, and he was betting on things that we didn't bet on in the United States. And he's been so good, he's still here. So it's the same way. So the guys that have been with us for a long time, they're winners, or they would have gotten rid of them. You can only do so much from your friendships. It's a business. And if you're not providing winners for your clients, they'll show you the door. And that's the way any business should be.
Yeah, and RIP to the GOAT, Dave Koch, he would have loved this show. He would have been so good on this format, this type of show.
Yeah.
It's I have a feeling if he was still here, we would definitely be in a 4-box right now doing this show, because this would be right up his alley. So,
yep.
All right. We are, by the way, boys, we crossed back over the plus threshold with the parlay yesterday, very, very slightly, back up a fraction of a unit. It is our goal. They said it couldn't be done last year, and we did it. I think we ended the season with plus 5 units on the show parlay of the day. It is August 25th, and we are very slightly in the plus. Very proud of that. We can get really in the plus if we can cash this one today. So to recap the parlay of the show, Tokyo Brandon's going with the Brewers minus 160. Brian's going to go with Diamondbacks minus 105. And then I'm going to go with the Angels plus 1.5, minus 145. Those are 3 full game sides right there. 3-teamer for today. Brewers minus 160, Diamondbacks minus 105, Angels plus 1.5, minus 145. Tokyo Brandon, tell them what they can find on the site on Tuesday today.
Yes, everything is $5 or free except the 5% plays. You also can get the double play and the triple play, but today it's all about the $5 plays for every capper, every play, including everything up to a 4% best bet. So go to wagertalk.com, picks and parlays, sportsmemo.com, and see what your capper has available. Unlimited everything for $5.
I saw a chat comment and they were like, Brian and Trig lost the 5%ers and now they want $5 from us today. Here's the deal. I almost always come with a free pick after a 5% loser. It's just, I feel like that's you guys are owed that. But I'm not going to do it on Tuesday because it's only $5. So I'm going to hold that off, and I will get you a free client play on either Wednesday or Thursday at some point. But I'm not going to do it on a $5 day because I'd rather give you a full price one. So to the person in the chat, I got you. Wednesday or Thursday, I will bring a free client play for the show. But I'm not going to do it today because it's $5 Tuesday. That wouldn't make any sense.
I gave up, Mike. It's going to be a 2% play on Arizona. So you've gotten that. So yeah.
There you go. 2% play on Arizona that I very much agree with, Brian. That may be there may be a percent attached to that one for me. I gotta let the card sort of develop here. Didn't lock anything in early today, but I will be firing for sure. One more thing. I haven't looked at a price on this game yet, but there is a very good chance today that the Worcester Red Sox, the Woo Sox, if you will, their lineup is IKF, Trevor Story, Roman Anthony, Romy Gonzalez. Like they could have a big league lineup out at Worcester tonight.
Wow.
So just keep an eye on that. The books know.
Stacked.
I'm sure it's going to be priced up like crazy, but yeah, there is a possibility that the first three hitter. Oh, and Franklin Arias, one of the top prospects in Major League Baseball right now. You could see a 1 through 5. That's Kiner Falefa, Roman Anthony, Trevor Story, Franklin Arias, Romy Gonzalez in Worcester tonight. So you guys always ask for some AAA thoughts. Worcester at any respectable price probably makes some sense.
I think Roman Anthony will be up with the Red Sox later on in the week also.
Oh, yeah. So yes, the goal is to have him play, I think, twice at Worcester, reevaluate, and I think he's going to join the team on Friday. So as well as Story and IKF, they're all getting evaluated in this 3-day period. So you probably got like one chance to bet them all on the same AAA team. I will likely be writing about that for Action Network later today. So keep an eye out for that. All right, guys, we went a little long today, but wanted to hang out for a minute. Again, Brewers, D-backs, Angels +1.5. That's your 3-teamer today. And the 3 of us will be back tomorrow morning for more Total Bases. $5 Tuesday. Go check out the site. We'll see you guys in the morning.